The doors are locked here, and there's a sign on the building right now that says it's closed for how long?
The doors are locked here, and there's a sign on the building right now that says it's closed for how long. Neither residential. Despite holding credit card privileges, Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's time in office has been marred by shocking allegations of misconduct and taxpayer fraud. Recent revelations have painted a disturbing picture of her administration, with evidence of extravagant spending at the expense of the town. One such example is a lavish $555,000 party she threw for Dalton, which included performances by artists like Wyatt and Jay Holiday, who were paid $30,000 and $20,000 respectively for $3-minute sets. To make matters worse, Henyard's administration spent an additional $36,000 on sound equipment, comedians, and even bouncy houses, costing taxpayers $6,600. Despite the event being attended by only around 70 people, this wasteful spending has led to widespread outrage among residents, with former trustee Valor Stubbs denouncing the event as elf promotional scheme. Concerned citizen Jennifer Roberts voiced her anger, condemning the obvious waste of public funds. The situation took a more sinister turn when Carmen Carlisle, a former ally turned whistleblower, revealed critical proof of financial mismanagement. Carlisle's testimony, backed by a stack of receipts, painted an even darker picture of Henyard's behavior, revealing how Dalton's funds were drained over a 2-year period due to her reckless financial decisions. The town's financial collapse under Henyard's leadership, combined with her lavish lifestyle funded by taxpayer money, has ignited fury. She was accused of using public funds to finance personal security details, expensive trips, and a lifestyle that resembled that of a Hollywood celebrity. All while Dalton's economy spiraled downward. The FBI has now become involved, conducting a thorough investigation into Henyard's activities. Federal agents are scrutinizing not only her financial dealings, but also her campaign funds, business ventures, and political connections. The investigation has intensified as police have broadened their focus to anyone associated with Henyard, suspecting they may have been involved in the alleged corruption. Despite the mounting pressure, Henyard has continued with her usual duties, seemingly unaffected by the ongoing investigation. This detachment from the growing crisis only added to public frustration, as it appeared that she was oblivious to the struggles of the very people she was meant to serve. Activists like Brittany Norwood have voiced their belief that the FBI's intervention, while long overdue, is finally addressing the cries for help from the town's residents. The investigation into Henyard's alleged corruption became even more complex when Carlisle, the key whistleblower, disclosure shocking first-hand account of Henyard's misconduct. According to Carlisle, the mayor's extravagant spending and manipulation of public funds over the last 2 years has left Dalton in a dire financial state. As federal agents pieced together the information, they began to uncover a massive web of corruption connecting Henyard and several of her political allies. Residents of Dalton, once blind to the depth of the financial mismanagement, were now left to face the grim reality that many of those they trusted may have been complicit in the corruption. Henyard's downfall took a dramatic turn when she voluntarily turned herself into federal authorities. Her sudden surrender shocked the community, leaving residents to question her motives. For months, Henyard had maintained a glamorous image, seemingly indifferent to the mounting scandal, but now she was in federal custody. Legal experts suggest that her decision to surrender may be part of a strategy to negotiate a more lenient sentence by offering information about other individuals involved in the alleged scams. If true, this would mark a significant shift in the case, as Henyard, once thought to be untouchable, now faces the real possibility of legal consequences. Her surrender has raised hopes among Dalton's residents that justice may finally be served, but it has also been a harsh reminder of how the town's financial mismanagement spiraled out of control. As Henyard now faces federal charges, the people of Dalton are left to pick up the pieces of a town that has suffered immensely under her leadership. The collapse of the town's finances has been accompanied by a growing mistrust of its leadership, leaving Dalton in need of substantial efforts to restore its financial health and rebuild the public's confidence. The long-term effects of Henyard's actions are still unfolding. The investigation into her financial dealings is far from over, with federal officials continuing to examine her spending habits, her ties to business ventures, and her influence over Dalton's financial management. As more information becomes available, it is clear that the story of Henyard's rise and fall is far from finished. The public's demand for justice remains as strong as ever, with many hoping that the investigation will lead to more Accountability within local government. Despite the challenges ahead, some residents have started to believe that there may be a path toward rebuilding the community and restoring trust in its leadership. For many, however, the damage has been done and the road to recovery seems long and uncertain. It is unclear whether the scandal surrounding Henyard's administration will ultimately bring about meaningful reforms in Dalton's government, or if they will simply serve as another chapter in the town's troubled history. The financial mismanagement, wasteful spending, and self-serving behavior under Henyard's leadership have left Dalton in disarray. What once seemed like a powerful and affluent mayoral office has now become a symbol of corruption and reckless governance. Henyard's fall from grace is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power, and the people of Dalton are left to wonder how their once promising town got to this point. Reports suggest that Hen's financial irresponsibility was not a sudden development. Rather, her actions were the culmination of years of poor decisions and self-interest that eventually caught up with her. Despite her previous image as a successful and influential leader, Hen's financial mismanagement is now being exposed in full force. The severity of her actions is underscored by one particularly disturbing report. Henyard allegedly spent $440,000 on Amazon in a single day, which highlights the scale of the financial crisis she presided over. Dalton's financial collapse was so severe that the town had to hire former Chicago Mayor Lori Leo to help clean up the mess left behind by Henyard's administration. This unprecedented move underscores the gravity of Dalton's financial situation, which had deteriorated under her leadership. As if things weren't bad enough, the Illinois State Comptroller had to intervene to prevent Dalton from receiving $135,000 in crucial funding. This intervention was a devastating blow to the town, leaving residents without the financial support they so desperately needed. Even after Henyard resigned and turned herself into federal authorities, the town continues to grapple with a fallout from her alleged actions. The situation has become even more complicated, with legal challenges facing those who refuse to cooperate with the investigation. There have been reports of wrongful termination lawsuits filed against those who questioned Hen's decisions or resisted her authority. This is only added to the ongoing turmoil and frustration among Dalton's residents, many of whom feel betrayed by the very people they elected to serve them. As the investigation unfolds, there is hope that some form of accountability will be achieved, but many residents remain skeptical about the possibility of true reform. Henyard's reckless spending and self-serving behavior have left an indelible mark on D, and it will take time for the town to recover from the damage done under her administration. The financial crisis she created, combined with the erosion of trust in local government, has left Dalton in a precarious position. Dalton's residents, once hopeful for a brighter future under Henyard's leadership, now find themselves struggling to rebuild their community with millions of dollars missing in the town's finances and shambles. The road to recovery seems long and uncertain. The FBI's investigation may bring some sense of justice, but the wounds inflicted by Hen's actions will take much longer to heal. Henyard's fall from grace is a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of holding public officials accountable for their actions. While the investigation is far from over, the people of Dalton are left to pick up the pieces of their shattered community and hope that in time they can rebuild both their finances and their faith in local government. Tiffany Henyard's resignation as Dalton's mayor has done little to alleviate the overwhelming sense of crisis that continues to hover over the town. Her administration, plagued by financial mismanagement, has been further compounded by disturbing allegations of abuse, corruption, and even sexual misconduct, deepening the ethical and legal turmoil surrounding her. In an attempt to deflect blame, Hen's administration has made counter-accusations against others, but these efforts have done little to quiet the rising outrage among residents. The community's deep dissatisfaction has only been intensified by these new revelations, which paint a darker picture of Henyard's time in office. One of the most recent developments involves a lawsuit filed by Boone Trish, a former employee, against Henyard, adding another layer of legal trouble to the embattled mayor. The lawsuit has quickly become a symbol of the toxic and authoritarian leadership style that Henyard is accused of fostering, which has left Dalton in a state of dysfunction described by many as hostile and intimidating. Henyard's leadership style created an atmosphere of fear within the town's administration. Numerous lawsuits, public condemnations, and now